Owen Wilson has a new movie out in theaters called Paint, and I've got nothing clever to say for this intro, so let's get on with the review. Paint, a film that when I first saw the poster, I thought was about Bob Ross. I was quickly aware that that was not the case, and by quickly aware, I mean as I was walking into the theater, I found out that it wasn't about Bob Ross. So instead, Owen Wilson plays an artist in Vermont called Carl Nargle. Carl, weird name. And he is this painter on television. Yeah, so let's get on with the story. The story is quite interesting as it's just about Carl who paints, and he paints pretty good until all of a sudden the studio needs more money and more viewership, so they bring in another person to paint as well because he doesn't want to paint for 2 hours. And that person ends up being better, and so he gets jealous and paints worse. And if it sounds convoluted, it's because it is. This story was somehow both straightforward and overlapping at the same time. It had really unique ideas that did not add up. It's weird. It relied a lot on flashbacks, but it didn't really make sense in the terms of the story, because like the present is like a little gloomy, and then whenever they flashed back, it was bright. It was in a brighter tone, which usually means in most situations when that happens, it's because they're flashing back to the good old days of before someone died. But no one died. So it doesn't add up in my eyes, because every time I've seen this sort of storytelling device and they're remembering the good old days, it's because they're dealing with grief of a lost loved one. But the lost loved one is still alive and in the movie, and it plays a really big part, and the story just doesn't add up, isn't consistent. And so because of that, it is a Hot Pocket score, because the more I try to explain the movie to my brain, the more confused I get. And so I'm going to save you, the viewers and listeners, from the confusion, as you don't need to know much about the story. It's not really there. Now, the cinematics, it's interesting. It's set in Vermont, and if you can point out Vermont on a map, I'll be impressed. I don't know. It made me and my group laugh quite a bit, but at moments it was just weird. Like, it didn't fit tonally the whole way through, and so it's just awkward. And at one point in the third act, you can tell that it probably had a budget of 2 squirrels and a bag of chips, because it looked real bad at the ending. The paintings looked pretty good though, so maybe that's where the budget went. But cinematics, Hot Pocket. Now, directing, interesting choices. They used flashbacks properly in terms of a storytelling device and appropriate. So the directing was good. I don't know if that was actually on the director's side or the scriptwriters, but the issue is that I'm going to blame it on I'm going to say the directing was good because they made sure that the flashbacks were well implemented into the scene, but the script wasn't really there to make it good. So the directing actually will get a hand grenade from me, because it wasn't boring to watch, and sometimes that's all you can ask from a director. The acting. There's acting. Owen Wilson is there. Yeah, that's all for acting. Hot Pocket score. Now let's talk about my expectations and experience. I saw this with 5 other people. We were the only 5 in the theater, and every time we were very confused at what was going on in the film, we talked about it. And at points, it seemed like it was leading towards a softcore porno, which made it really weird. And then they would cut right before. It was funny because one of our group members said, I usually skip this part, and that drew a laugh out of some of us, and that's a pretty funny gag to throw in there. But it wasn't what I was expecting, and to be fair, I don't know what I was expecting. In all honesty, it did not meet my expectations due to the fact that I was expecting Bob Ross, and I did not get Bob Ross. And my favorite part about the experience is as I was watching this film, it felt like it would quickly turn genres. Like, all of a sudden, these 2 rival painters would go crazy and try to kill each other, and in trying to kill each other, they would kill all of Vermont, which is probably like 5 people and 20 sheep, I think. I still don't know what a Vermont is. I'll figure it out one day, though. They tell me it's just Canada, too, but I don't believe that, or else it'd be moose, or meese, or the plural of moose. Yeah, this movie is weird. It is somehow more convoluted than The Tutor was, and I didn't think that was possible. Like, The Tutor had a weird ending, Inside had a weird ending, this movie had a weird ending, and it's just weird how films this year are just getting cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs at this rate. But with that, I'm going to give it a Hot Pocket score due to the fact that, yeah, I would rather be eating any other flavored Hot Pocket right now. With that, this movie is Hot Pocket hand grenade. Holy shit. Like, maybe watch this if you're painting, because it's got a lot of painting and paint. Yeah, no, okay, so be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll leave you guys to it.